Good morning to anyone who may be watching this. This is Bible Know How. And today I want to talk about asking according to God's will. It's a beautiful morning here. I'm pretty sure everyone can hear the birds singing. It's a little bit windy, but it's still beautiful and it feels great. But anyway, back to what's important. I want to talk about asking according to God's will. And I believe that if you ask anyone who prays whether or not they want to be heard, the obvious answer is yes. Or they wouldn't do it. And if you ask anyone whether or not they want to answer to their prayers, I would say of course they do, or why pray at all, right? But what if I told you, there are some cases where you can be sure that things will go more positive. There's a way that you can, just by staying in the will of God. And I want to show everybody that by going to 1 John chapter 5, verses 14 through 15. And it says, "This is the confidence we have before him. If we ask anything according to his will, he hears us." According to his will. Catch that. And if we know that he hears whatever we ask, we know that we have what we ask of him. All right. So, as you can see from 1 John, when it comes to prayer, that making a request of God, it's important that we know this. God, okay, how should I put it? If something is outside of God's will, then God is not going to go against his will. And, we also have to keep this in mind that some prayers are simply outside the will of God and will be rejected or not even heard. Not trying to, sound negative, but God's not going to go against his will. For prayer to be effective and go with the will of God, the believer also must first discern God's divine will. And somebody might ask, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you one of the ways you can do it. So one of the ways we can do that is staying in God's word and having an intimate relationship with the Lord. An intimate relationship with the Lord will allow us to be able to do this. And when we have true discernment, we will then lay aside our own will and even our selfish desires when we're praying and asking God, when we're petitioning God. And in turn, this will reorient our life and reformat our prayers. When that happens, confidence and boldness, have confidence and boldness in our prayers and petitions of God. And it's not because, we think we're saying the right thing or, the proper form or anything like that. But it's literally because we're in the will of God. And I'm not trying to say that everything you pray or everything that you pray for will or will not be rejected or that God's going to grant your every request. No, I'm saying that if we stay in the will of God, everything will change. Earlier when I said, it'll reorient our life and reformat our prayers. when we are in the will of God, we will begin to pray differently. We will, we'll set, like I said before, we'll set aside our own will and desires. So that's gonna do it for this video. Little short video about asking according to God's will. And here's to hoping that everybody will have a great rest of their day and